The Vec. Giant alien bugs buried deep beneath the crust of the Earth for a millennium have begun to stir. When they attacked, they destroyed everything. Now only one small band of resistance fighters with a dimensional portal stand in their way. A group of 3 mechs hopping from one timeline to another, trying to save them all. So what is Into the Breach? Into the Breach is a roguelite turn-based strategy game from the makers of Faster Than Light. You play as the human resistance combating an ancient alien foe. Let's just jump into it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Starting a game will launch a short intro sequence, then bring up the Mech Squad loadout page. This is where you will pick your squad of mechs. You only have one squad to pick from at the start, but you can unlock more as you progress and gain achievements. Each squad has a list of achievements above the mech list. The Riftwalkers here have 3 achievements: Watery Grave, drown 3 or more opponents in a single battle; Ramming Speed, kill an enemy 5 or more tiles away with a dash punch; and Island Secure, complete the first island. Then you have your campaign victory medals for completing 2, 3, or 4 islands in a single run. Each one of these will grant you gold, which you can use to unlock more squads. Each squad is a unique collection of mechs with different skills to totally change up your strategy on the battlefield. Your starting mech unit, the Riftwalkers, is a well-balanced team to get you started. Its primary damage is a close combat mech, supported by a range tank and an artillery piece. The Blitzkrieg comes standard with a mech that has an electric whip, a hook tank, and a mech that launches boulders as its primary attack. You can change your color scheme if you have any unlocked, and your mech pilot. Each pilot has a unique set of skills that they unlock as you level them up. Your starting pilot here gains 2 experience points extra per kill. Other pilots can grant a shield to their mech at the start of the battle, or gain an extra turn reset. More on that later. After you've decided your difficulty, it's time to drop down to Earth and try and defend it. On your first attempt, you will only have access to the first island, Museum Island, headed by the Archive Corporation. Each island is divided up into 8 regions, with one of them being the corporate HQ. Top of the screen is where you can see how many stars and cores you have. Next to that is the grid power, which is essentially the island's life bar. The more power you have, the better your buildings can withstand combat with the bugs. Base grid defense is 15%, but you can gain more power to boost that number up. Last on the top is how many civilians you have saved. Your mech team is listed on the side of the map. Clicking on one will bring up their stats window. This shows you the pilot and their experience, plus all the weapons and mods that you have installed within their mech. Everything you add or mod on your mech requires power cores, which can be obtained through drop pods or special events on the map. The map itself has stars and bolts on it. Stars are the in-game currency, which you can spend after you've liberated the map. Bolts are grid power, and will add to the island's overall grid power once you've finished the battle. Start a fight. Pick an adjacent region to the HQ and try and defend it from the bugs. This will show you the objectives of the map, the terrain and buildings, plus the initial spawn locations of the bugs. You can decide which of these available missions you'd rather take on. Some missions have you defending buildings, or friendly units, which can sometimes aid you in the battle. Some have extra map effects, like volcanoes or floods. Pick the spawning locations of your mech, and then get ready for an unfair turn-based battle. Vec always move and show you where they are attacking and what they are doing first, so that you can respond accordingly. New Vec spawn every round, and you only have 5 turns in which to hold them off. This quickly turns into a game of chess, where you are maneuvering your pieces to try and counteract what the enemy is doing. The combat board is an 8x8 grid containing various features. Mountains, rivers, cities, forests, deserts, they're all here. It also contains the combat interface. Here you can see your grid power and grid defense in the left corner. This is where you can also see your turn buttons. Each battle, you get a single opportunity to use the reset turn button, which fully resets the current turn. You can only use it once per battle, but it will get you out of any mistake very quickly. There is also an undo move button, which will reset the position of the mech you moved last. This only resets the move, and if you attack or use any skills, then you are unable to undo your move. Then, the end turn button, which ends the turn. Down on the bottom left, you can see the action bar of your currently selected mech. Each turn you can move and shoot, repair, or use a skill. If you mouse over an action, it will show you what that action does with a little video, just in case you forgot what your mechs do. Various attacks and skills can push or pull enemies. The combat mech's powerful punch does 2 damage and knocks Vec back. But be careful, knocking Vec into buildings causes grid damage. Smashing a Vec into a building will cause you to feel real dumb. I know from experience, I've done it several times. The cannon mech fires at range and only does 1 damage, but it also knocks Vec back. Then there's the artillery mech, which can lob shots from afar, and those shots push all enemies back 1 space from the center of the impact. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see the turn counter, objectives, and most importantly, the turn order. This will show you what Vec unit is moving or attacking first, so you can adjust accordingly. There is very little chance that you will kill all of the Vec each turn they spawn. So it's a game of hit the ones you need to kill and move the others so that they miss their attacks. One way to deal with spawning Vec is to put something on top of the spawn locations. A Vec, a mech, a rock, whatever, and whatever that thing is will take damage, and the Vec will not spawn. As you progress through missions, you will come across pods. These contain various weapons, items, or even pilots. More often than not, they come with power cores. If you manage to survive the Vec onslaught, you are awarded your stars from your objectives or grid power depending on the mission. Then, you can upgrade your mechs with whatever weapons or skills that you have found. Each mech has a class, and some weapons only work with specific classes. Everything is powered with reactor cores, and this will be very familiar to FTL fans. You can upgrade health or movement or put cores into upgraded weapons or power abilities. Once a core is assigned to a mech, you cannot change it, but you can change which part of the mech it powers. Once you've defended the island through 5 missions, the Vec will attack your HQ, and then it's time to fight the boss round. If you win, you can move to another island. This game can get pretty unfair pretty quickly. You only have 3 mech to deal with so many Vec, and they just keep spawning. Luckily, you only need to survive 5 rounds. If you run out of grid power, or all of your mechs become disabled, your surviving crew will teleport back to base. Then, it's time to open a dimensional breach and jump to another dimension with another Earth and try to save it. Win or lose, you can spend your coin you've gained in the mech shop and buy new mech teams, unlocking new strategies and weapons. This game stresses me out. There are often times where I just don't want to continue due to it being so stressful. I don't want to lose my mech teams. You never know when the game is just going to decide to move its pieces into positions and then you're just screwed. A board state where every move you make is a mistake. Quite often you'll have to decide which losses to take and hope that you can still come out a victor. I do absolutely love the pixel art styling of this game. Its similarities and reused mechanics from FTL will help FTL fans feel quite at home when playing this game. There's a lot of strategy involved right from the get-go, and any deep strategy lover will find hours of entertainment with this one. Just like FTL, Into the Breach has an amazing soundtrack created by Ben Prunty, which is worthy of listening to on its own. Into the Breach was created and published by the primarily 2-man indie studio Subset Games. Released February 27th, 2018 on Mac, PC, and Linux. It also has a fantastic port to the Switch. The founders of Subset, Justin Ma and Matthew Davis, both worked for 2K Games on AAA titles such as BioShock 2. They left in 2011 to form Subset. Their first title was, of course, Faster Than Light, roguelike space adventure. FTL was nominated and won several awards. Into the Breach won 2018's Best Strategy Game at the Game Awards. Let's take a look at the options menu. Pixel graphics game, so don't expect too much here. Various game options as well as fully rebindable keyboard controls. No rebindable controls for gamepad, however. Though I do like that when you change what kind of controller you are using, it changes the icon of the D-pad to reflect that change. Full screen, on or off, and no resolution options. You can drag the window borders around to make the window mode as big or as small as 640 by 480. Full screen will be your desktop resolution. Only one colorblind mode, and I'm not entirely sure which one it is. Effect and music sliders and full mute, but no master slider, come on. And now, you know what Into the Breach is. Ho, what a fantastically stressful game. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my other videos, and join the Discord and join the conversation. The link is down below. Big thanks to all my Patreons. You guys help make this video possible.